Hey everybody, Ben Frederickson here, and welcoming you into a spring training edition of Inside Pitch. I'm down here in Jupiter covering the Cardinals for STLtoday.com and the Post-Dispatch. My colleague Jeff Gordon is back in STL, here to kind of break down the Cardinals, Gordo, at the 1/3 mark of spring training. They are 1/3 of their way into Grapefruit League games. Still ongoing conversations about some of the few competitions the Cardinals have. You know, the outfield one will be heating up, and we'll get into more of that kind of in the coming weeks for sure. But there are some topics we got to start off with here, Gordo. First being the news about Miles Michaelis. He's not going to be ready to start the season with the Cardinals. The Cardinals are optimistic that this won't be too long of a setback. He's dealing with some shoulder issues that are probably related to that forearm issue that he missed all of last season with. So the Cardinals are saying upbeat things. But when you don't have a key starter who's ready for the regular season, at least off the bat, that's pretty concerning.
Luckily, they've got a lot of pitchers. Now, some fans are believe in some more than others. I'm still a Carlos Martinez hawk. I'll still say until he proves to me that last year was a sign of his decline and not just an unfortunate blip caused by COVID and some other things. I still think there's something there. And, you know, all these young guys, you know, Zach Thompson, you look at, Cabrera still has a long way to go, but Ponce de Leon finished the year well. John Gant wants to be a starter. You know, Alex Reyes wants to be a starter. He's not going to get his chance. They have a lot of pitching. It's the one thing they have a lot of, and there's a lot of sorting to do, Ben Fred. But, you know, I'm less concerned about the Miles situation just because I already thought there might be 9, 10, 11 different guys starting this year.
One thing that is a little cautious for me in this who starts conversation. I like John Gant as a reliever. I think he's so valuable. You can use him so often. He's been a starter before. I just feel like if he was going to be a starter, a good one in the major leagues, we would know it by now. I think he's more valuable coming out of the bullpen. I would have loved to see Alex Reyes get that shot. At some point, the Cardinals are going to have to let Alex Reyes go and trust that he can hold his health. It won't be this year, though. They're going to put up 100-ish innings limit cap on him, and he'll be used as a reliever. Now, the hard part for them will be finding those innings. It's easy to say, go start this often. We're going to watch your limit, your innings limit. There's going to be a lot of starters who pitch around 100 innings this year, especially for teams that go through multiple ones. Instead, now the Cardinals are going to try to find those high-leverage relief innings for Reyes. If they do it well, he could be a real X factor. If they use him, end up having him mop up games or pitch in games they're losing, then you're kind of wasting his talent. So a little disappointing for me to see them go that route, but it does clear up the path for other guys. One guy I think we got to mention is Johan Oviedo. The Cardinals have kind of hit him almost on the backfields a little bit this spring, but he has starting to pitch in Grapefruit League games now. He got his feet wet last year. They're really impressed with him. Jake Woodford, another guy that if there's going to be someone other than Gant or Daniel Ponce de Leon, then I think those guys could be in play here. We'll see how this plays out. Hopefully the Cardinals, for the Cardinals, they have Michaelis back before too long here. We'll see as that continues to play out. What it's also playing out, Gordo, is probably a slow start in terms of at least numbers for the Cardinals player the Cardinals least wanted to see have a slow start this spring, which is Matt Carpenter. He's 0 for 13. At one point, he was the only player in both the Grapefruit and Cactus Leagues to have 11 at-bats without a hit. He's hit a couple balls hard. The strikeouts are too high. He just doesn't look like a guy right now who's locked in. Now, he could get there, but if he's not going to hit this year, then he's going to have a hard time finding playing opportunities.
Yeah, the ideal scenario for the Cardinals in the final year of this particular contract would have been to have him hit at least well enough to platoon in, let Tommy Edman move around a little bit. Maybe an optimal season might have been 300 at-bats if they were good at-bats. That way you'd get value from him for his contract without risking having him have his contract rolled over for a guaranteed another year. So, they wanted something. They needed something from him this year. They need something from him. And because Edmonds could do so many things, could give him real value as the backup shortstop and play some games over there. Because if Carpenter doesn't hit, now you've got a real issue as far as your depth in the infield, your utility infield situation. Now you're going to run Paul DeJong into the ground. And we saw what that looked like last year.
Yeah, that's another thing is who's going to who's going to be that middle infielder? Matt Carpenter would like to be. He's not going to play shortstop, but Edmund could. Edmundo Sosa has made a strong impression so far in camp, and he's out of options, so the Cardinals are looking at him hard as a bench bet as well. But yeah, right now, slow start for Carpenter. Still time. The good news for him is he's looked excellent playing the defense. We weren't sure what he would look like at second base. He's looked really good there. He's made some really nice plays so far this spring, but as he will tell you, he's got to hit in order to force himself into the conversation now that Nolan Arenado is playing third base. Quick thing before we run, there's been nothing but positive reports on Nolan Arenado's shoulder. That was a big question, I think, during spring. How is that power going to be there after he played hurt last year and it sapped his power at the plate? His swing looks good, and he says that finish on his swing is there. So that's some positive injury news. Some negative injury news on the Michaelis shoulder, some positive injury news on the Arenado shoulder. That's where things kind of stand, DeGordo, a third of the way into Cardinals camp. And we'll keep it covered. Derek Gould, Rick Hummel, and I are down here with constant coverage for STLtoday.com, and we will continue to do these inside pitches from down here as well as we get ready for the Cardinal season. Good to be back with Inside Pitch, Gordo. Good to see you, man. And we'll talk again soon.